Ramble.
Thank you to KiwiCo for sponsoring this episode of Anything Goes. While the holidays might be a little bit different this year, who knows what it's going to be like, it's still the season of giving, and we still need to be giving the people we love things, okay? KiwiCo delivers hands-on science and art projects for kids of all ages. With a KiwiCo gift subscription, kids can engineer a walking robot, design a paint pendulum, conduct bubbling chemistry experiments, and more, all from the comfort of home. Your child can get super cool hands-on science, art, and geography projects delivered to their door every month. Each colorful crate comes with everything needed to spark curiosity and kindle creative thinking so that the kids can get started right away. They might not be able to go to any fun places for the holidays, but you can give them a whoa, awesome experience with KiwiCo. With different crates for kids of all ages, there's something for every kid on your list. And there's no commitment, so you can pause or cancel anytime. Get 50% off your first month, plus free shipping on any crate line with code CADENCE at kiwico.com. That's 50% off your first month at KiwiCo, KIWICO.com, promo code CADENCE. This is something I would have loved as a kid. I was very much into art and science. Those were like the only two things I cared about growing up. Thank you, KiwiCo. Hey guys, welcome back to Anything Goes. I hope you all are having an amazing week. I decided to record spontaneously today because I had an idea for something that I wanted to talk about. And to be honest, I've been blank in my brain for the past few weeks. Just actually, no, longer than that. The past few months. Because to be completely honest with you guys, my life has been kind of a mess anxiety-wise. Like my anxiety's been pretty bad. But besides that, everything's going really well. Which means that I don't have drama to talk about. You know what I mean? I'm not learning any life lessons. Nobody's burning me. So it's not like I can come on here and be like, don't trust anyone ever. Like I feel like what I've been doing in the beginning of this podcast and like throughout. I've just been spewing out the life lessons that I've been learning, but I feel like I haven't really been learning much. Except for that I did recently figure out the importance of communication even when it seems unnecessary. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to dig into this real quick before we get into our main topic because like I used to be somebody that would hold on to little things that bugged me because I didn't want to create an issue. Like one little thing would bug me and I wouldn't bring it up because I was like, you know what? I want to seem unbothered. I want to seem chill. Right? But recently I've been really trying to like keep everything all out on the table all the time with everybody, parents, friends, etc. If something's bugging me, I now refuse to hold on to it and let it like grow resentment in my chest. I refuse. And the reason for that is I don't want drama. I don't want to have resentment in my heart towards people. So as hard as it is, I've been really making it a priority to like communicate anything that I don't fuck with, anything that makes me uncomfortable, anything that bugs me. Instead of holding on to it and growing this unnecessary resentment, I just bring that shit up now. And let me tell you, it's changed my life and it's changed my relationships. I feel like my relationships with people have been so consistently good because of that. I don't let anything go unnoticed anymore. And it's uncomfortable sometimes, but it's changed my life and my relationships truly. Having that, like, not only does it make my relationships with people stronger, but it also makes me feel good. Like when you get something off your chest, even if it's so small, like even if somebody just did something a little bit off, or even if you think somebody's doing something behind your back, or you think that somebody's mad at you, even if they're not, like being like, hey, are you mad at me? Like, did I do something wrong? Even if it's irrational and stupid, bringing it up when it's bugging you literally solves every problem. And I can guarantee that unless somebody's up to no good, they're usually going to be like, no, you're totally good. Like, why? And then you just be like, oh, I don't know. I was just fucking paranoid about nothing. Like, thanks for, humoring me or whatever. Like, thanks for like letting me get that off my chest. And then you move on. I used to hold on to shit for my entire relationship. I could be friends with somebody for 2 years and have something that they did that bugged me, and never bring it up. And it would bug me for the whole 2-year friendship. But now I'm like, no, we're 2020. We are quitting on that. And so that's something that I learned this past week. But like, I just really realized that that's something I've been doing more recently that I hadn't done before. Cause I was talking about it to my parents and I was like, you know, I'm just like done with like hiding my feelings, whatever. And they were like, Emma, that's huge growth. Like you have never been like that prior in your life. And I was like, word. So I don't know, something to think about. Having an open communication and being honest with the people in your life feels really fucking good. So try that out. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about a new LA phenomena, whatever that word is. I asked you guys on the AG Podcast Twitter if you knew what this thing was, and a lot of you guys didn't know what it was, but I think that you guys do. You just don't know that you know what it is. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about Saddle Ranch. Let me give you a little background. Saddle Ranch is a tacky Western style bar restaurant located in Los Angeles, California on the Sunset Strip, right in the heart of West Hollywood. It is the tackiest restaurant you could possibly imagine. There is a bull that you can ride in there. The whole thing looks like a fucking saloon that you would see in some sort of pirate movie or something. It's just like, it's so beyond tacky that it's unreal. But recently, it started to get this crazy amount of attention from influencers and celebrities alike. And it never had in the past. Like, it was always fun. And I know, like, you know, people always went there here and there. I know, like, you know, there was a decent chunk of YouTubers that used to go there a few times a week just because it was fun and like not a lot of people were there and it was easy to get in because it was just like, it wasn't super exclusive or weird. It was just like easy to go because it was like the tacky place. So it wasn't like going to some sort of super expensive LA bougie bar. It was like the complete opposite. And I think that's why it was appealing to some YouTubers or whatever, because it was like, okay, this is like a chill place that we can go and have like a similar experience, except there's not all the bougie dumb shit involved. And so that's why it was popular. And then quarantine hit and then, you know, whatever. But since it reopened, it has turned into something completely different. If you've ever watched a Hollywood Fix interview, Hollywood Fix is basically the paparazzi for YouTubers, TikTokers, anybody, but normally YouTubers and TikTokers. It's a YouTube channel. You can go watch them. They're very entertaining. I watch them all the time, unfortunately. And they just basically, the Hollywood Fix dude, it's just one dude, and he just finds people and he interviews them on the spot. Paparazzi vibes, whatever. If you've watched any Hollywood Fix interview, I can guarantee it was probably one outside of Saddle Ranch. This dude waits outside of Saddle Ranch. His name is Fletcher, the paparazzi guy. Everybody knows him. It's this weird thing. Like, there's this weird, like, culture and, like, weird, like, it's so bizarre to me. Like, everybody knows the Hollywood Fix dude. And that's such a new thing. Like, I doubt 10 years ago, celebrities like Brad Pitt would like know the first name of the paparazzi that harasses him all the time. You know what I mean? But now that we're in this weird influencer culture phase of life, it's crazy how like everybody's very normal, I think. And so everything's so on a personal level. Yet it has the impact or maybe even the views of, say, like a paparazzi Brad Pitt interview from like a while ago. It might actually get the same amount of views, which is mind-boggling. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's true, but I feel like that actually might be true. Back to Saddle Ranch. Saddle Ranch is basically the influencer capital of Los Angeles right now. Every single night of the week, every single TikToker that you see on your For You page is at Saddle Ranch. including a lot of YouTubers too. There's a lot of YouTubers there, TikTokers. I even saw Megan Fox and fucking Machine Gun Kelly there once. Like, everybody's going to Saddle Ranch. And it's the craziest thing ever. And the way that it's laid out is that there's this big outdoor seating area that is fully visible from the street. So anybody can kind of like look into like what's going on at Saddle Ranch at any given evening. It's like a fucking zoo. And it's like everybody who's seated at the tables at Saddle Ranch are the zoo animals, and everybody outside can look in and see who they can find. And you can only imagine the field day that the paparazzi are having. They're zooming in on people eating. This has happened to me. Like, they get infinite content of seeing like, TikTokers interact with each other and YouTubers interact with whatever. And it's like a fucking zoo, okay? And I remember when this first became a thing, I was like, this is so kind of dumb. Like, this is dumb. And that's truly what I thought. I was like, this is so dumb. Like, I don't get the point of it. Like, it seems like it's just an anxiety fest for me. Everybody's being filmed, hanging out, and everybody that you know is there. And there's a decent chance that you're going to see some sort of fucking ex-best friend or some sort of fucking ex-boyfriend there, ex-girlfriend, whatever the fuck. There's a very good chance you're going to see someone like that while you're there. And there's a decent chance that some sort of drama is going to ensue based on whether or not you go over and say hi to them or not. That seems like a nightmare to me. I'm out. I don't want to be a part of this. Well, I got sucked into it for a few weeks. Okay, brief break. I have a question for you. How far would you go for a friend? Like small stuff, like are we talking about giving them a ride to the airport or sharing half your sandwich? Or like, what about donating a kidney? Tony winner Annalie Ashford may just be that kind of friend for Silicon Valley's Thomas Middleditch in the new original series from Chuck Lorre, Be Positive, coming this Thursday at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central on CBS. My friends and I got very bored. And there was something funny and appealing about the idea of just going and seeing what it's all about. Because every night we just kept seeing everybody who lives around us that we relatively know going to the same restaurant. And it was like, and everybody was there at the same time. And it was like, it became the thing to do here. And nothing else is open. And they have a nice outdoor seating area that's like, regulated. It just seemed like, okay, well, there's no harm in this. Like, let's just do it. Let's just go. We're bored. Let's just go and see what we see what drama ensues. Like, whatever. Like, let's just see what happens. So I probably went to Saddle Ranch 10 times over the course of a few weeks. And I became addicted to it. Like, I wanted to go every night. And here's why. Every night there was some new drama. There was some new person that walks in that was like, oh my God, like I can't believe they're here. And it became like a literal nighttime activity that I looked forward to, where it was like, who am I going to see? And it was almost like going to Saddle Ranch was like scratching an itch in my armpit. Like, when you just have like a really bad itch and it like, that if you itch it, it's just going to make it worse. But like, you want to itch it. That's what going to Saddle Ranch was for my friends and I. We hated it. We hated the fucking stigma around it. We hated the drama that came with it. But we kept going because there was something so satisfying about it. And I mean, one night sticks out to me in particular. It was this night where we all went and we were sitting at this table. This was the thing that set me over the edge. We all were sitting at a table and we were eating, and the entire dinner, the entire hour and a half, 2 hours that we were there, we were filmed the whole time. The entire time through the little window thing, the little like divider from the outside street into the inside. It's see-through, and we were being filmed the whole time. And that was the thing that like sent me over the edge. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Because then I had to like go home And then I had to go to bed and wake up the next morning and watch the dinner that I had had the night before. And I hated it. And I was like, what if I looked bad? What if like I had a booger in my nose? Like, what if? What if I did something bad on accident? Like, what if I fucking picked a wedgie or something? Like, what if I like, what if they accidentally caught me slapping my friend in the face on camera? I didn't do that. But you know what I mean? Like, what did they catch? Like, even though I know, it's like, I know I'm being filmed. So and also I'm not doing anything fucking weird anyway, but like, it's just, it makes you think, right? Like, what's going on? That was what sent me over the edge. And so I stopped going. And once I stopped going, I was kind of able to reflect on my time at Saddle Ranch and just see the immaturity that it was an immature thing for me to do. And I'll explain why. In the moment, it seemed fun and harmless, but looking back, it like was very immature of me. And here's why. Every time I would go home with this crippling feeling of anxiety. Number one, because, you know, the paparazzi situation was crazy. Number two, because there was a bunch of people that I like half know, not like fully know them on a personal level, but like people that I've dappled with, you know, people that I've hung out with a few times, people that I've like talked to for a little bit, like shit like that. And that's all there. And you don't know who's going to show up. But like the fact that those people were around me, I wouldn't anticipate them being there, but I also deep down knew that that was a possibility. And yet I would choose to go there multiple times a week, knowing that I was going to see people that I would be uncomfortable around. Yet I chose to do that because there was something exciting about it. But then I would be anxious for the next 48 hours until we would just go again and it would all start over again. I would say that a decent part of my anxiety came from me going to Saddle Ranch religiously and seeing people that I didn't want to see and that I had no reason to see. I have no reason to be seeing these people. It's not necessary. They're not in my life anymore. I don't know these people very well. I don't want to have a weird, awkward conversation with someone that like I've hung out with 4 times a year ago. Like I don't want to have those conversations. Yet I was making the conscious decision to go to Saddle Ranch with my friends instead of just hanging out and ordering food into my fucking house. Instead of doing that, we're like, no, let's go to this restaurant that every TikToker goes to and every fucking influencer goes to. Let's do that instead. Why? When I knew that that would make me uncomfortable, yet I was doing it anyway because it was like scratching an itch for some reason. There's something so satisfying and fun about it, even though it was bad for me and even though it would harm me. And I knew that. And I wonder if all the other, you know, kids that are going that are, I wonder if they're all thinking the same thing. Like, this sucks, but yet I can't not go because there's something so fun about it. And I think it's also like, because it's like a fucking lunchroom. It's like, you know, everybody and it's fun to like see everybody. There's something fun about that. You know what I mean? Knowing that there's going to be 20 people that you know there. There's something interesting about it. And even inviting, I'd argue. And so, you know, I don't know. It's just, I'm glad I stopped going. It was harming me literally in my head. Like it was starting to make me feel like the internet was my real life because my one interaction with people outside of my 2 friends being at this restaurant where I'd see people from, you know, however many feet away, like me looking around the room at Saddle Ranch and seeing my entire Instagram Explore page for like multiple weeks on end ruined my mental health. It ruined me. So I'm glad that I stopped. But I wonder when Saddle Ranch will die. Like, is this going to die and everybody's going to stop going? Or is this just going to be something that, you know, we all waste our time with forever? And that's the question I have. I don't plan on going again anytime soon. But then again, I haven't been in probably a month or 2, maybe a month, maybe 3 weeks. I don't know. I haven't been in a while. I don't plan on going anytime soon. I really think that it was super toxic for me. And it was so, it just wasn't like, it was not a positive thing. And I don't regret going because it was like kind of funny. And there was like some funny memories from it. And like, I think my friends and I had fun with it for a few weeks until it just got we all were just anxious messes from it. And so we stopped. And I've been a lot happier since. But it's just interesting how everyone congregates to like one area. And like 90% of the people sitting in the Saddle Ranch, fucking at the Saddle Ranch tables, 90% of them, the ones that all know each other from social media and shit, all hate each other. I hate talking about it like this because it's like, it's just such a weird community. And I don't like talking about it as a whole because it's like, just seems so dumb, right? But at the same time, like, it is this weird LA community of like influencer, TikToker, YouTubers that like, and it's so interesting how everybody knows each other. And like, even when they don't seem like they know each other because nobody like follows each other, blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows each other. And it's so bizarre to me and I will never get over it. And that's why the whole Saddle Ranch thing is just even more toxic because it's just like everybody knows each other, but half the time some people don't even want to admit it. And it's just not, it's a very avoidable thing that like you could have a lot of fun without. Someone said, is Saddle Ranch full every night or is there a specific day in which everyone goes? Literally everyone goes every day. Like you can go any day and you're going to see everyone. And like now it's hard to get in. It used to be something where you could just it was so not exclusive at all. Now you have to wait in like a 5-hour line to get in unless you have a reservation or you have some sort of like, or you know someone or something. And it's like, y'all, there is a mechanical bull inside and it looks like something from the Wild Wild West. Why are we waiting in line for this? Although they do have the most amazing tater tots. So like I would wait for those. But, oh, people are now talking about BOA. Okay, so somebody said, who wins the Saddle Ranch or BOA? Who wins the battle, Saddle Ranch or BOA? So let me tell you about BOA. I don't go to BOA. BOA is like the other place. So there's two. Saddle Ranch is like the lighthearted, fun place that everyone goes to like see everybody that they don't like and to get paparazzi'd. That's Saddle Ranch. BOA is like the exact same thing, except it's a steakhouse. It's down the street. It's close. It's a steakhouse where you have a little bit more privacy, but it's very overpriced. And the food is like fine, but it's like not that great. Like it's good, but it's like, okay, you could definitely go somewhere else where you're not going to get harassed by the Hollywood fix outside. Like, you know what I mean? You're not, I don't think people are going there because they like the food. That's what I'm saying. And it's the same thing with Saddle Ranch. They're going for the drama. You don't go to Saddle Ranch or BOA to like eat the food when you're on social media. I'm being straight up about it. You just don't. You're going for either the drama and to see people you know and to see what's going on and to see like, you know, to kind of like experience the fucking culture of it, or you're going to get paparazzied and there's no in between. Personally, I don't like getting paparazzied. I'm more there for like the drama of it all, just to like see kind of what's going on. And it's just like fun to people watch. For me, it's fun to people watch. I don't know if that's what everybody else is doing for it. I doubt it. I think for everybody else, it's more of a lunchroom situation. I agree with that, but I tend to kind of keep to myself when I'm at Saddle Ranch, and I just like to watch. Like, you know, when you go to Disneyland and you sit down for a second with your churro and you just like to watch like moms do embarrassing shit with their kids. Like they're just like, you know, talking baby talk super loud to their baby, right? And that's fun to watch at Disneyland. Or you're seeing like some sort of, you know, 15-year-old couple that's like all over each other and it's like weirdly entertaining even though you don't know who they are and you're never going to see them again. It's the same thing at Saddle Ranch. There's this people watching element that's priceless. There's nothing better than seeing everybody on your For You page interact. There's something very interesting about it. That's why the fucking Hollywood Fix interviews do so well. And there's nothing negative about it for anyone else, I would say. I think it's fun. You know what? If you like seeing other social media people around. And if you like getting paparazzi'd, I don't see a negative thing about it. I don't think it's hurting anyone. It just hurts me because my brain doesn't like this shit. So that's why it's not good for me. And it makes me anxious. And I was just scratching an itch and people watching and like, but I didn't enjoy the elements of it that I was literally walking straight into. It's almost like I was better off watching just the Hollywood Fix. But I knew that I could just drive 10 minutes and I could be there. And I wanted that. Because I was like, this is fun. Because I like watching these Hollywood Fix interviews. I'm just going to go live it. But it really ended up ruining my life. And there it is. Somebody said, is the food actually good at Saddle Ranch? It's not bad, but it's like you could eat good food anywhere. That's not what it's about. And I think that that's what, I kind of wanted to talk about today is like almost I wanted to have a confession moment and be like, I've never gone to Saddle Ranch for the food. I go to Saddle Ranch for every other element. And I had a few weeks where I was guilty of it. And listen, I might go back again. If you see me at Saddle Ranch someday again, don't yell at me because there's a decent chance that one night my friends and I are going to be like, this kind of sounds fun right now. Like, let's do this. Like, this kind of sounds like it'd be an interesting thing. It's an interesting activity. You know what I mean? To do. It's like interesting. But I can tell you it's not for the food. Somebody said, do you go to get paparazzi? Personally, I don't because I don't like it. And usually it makes me very uncomfortable. But at the same time, when I go, I know that it's a potential. And sometimes it doesn't happen. But a lot of the times, especially towards the end of me going there, it started happening almost every time. And that's when I was like, you know what? I don't like this. There was many, many times where I went and it never happened. It was more just a people watching experience. It was fun. It was entertaining. It's lighthearted there. You're always going to see someone you're always going to run into somebody. It was fun. It was like entertaining, whatever. And there was no paparazzi element. But it started to get really bad towards the end of me going there. And so then I stopped going. Because of it. Because I was like, this is just like, number one, I don't like it. I don't like walking into it. And like, I also don't, I was like, it doesn't make me feel good. It gives me crippling anxiety to watch it the next day. So like, I want to avoid that at all costs. And yeah, so no, not me. But I do know some people probably do. And that's totally fine because it's kind of, some people enjoy it. And I totally get that too. And I think that a year or two ago, if I would have gotten paparazzi'd, I would have enjoyed it. But now I don't anymore. And so, I mean, I don't know if I ever enjoyed it. But I think it never used to happen to me. So if this would have happened to me like a year or two ago, I probably would have thought it was I would have like enjoyed it or whatever. It wouldn't have created anxiety for me, but now it does. And so no, I no longer want to participate. All right, we're going to move on from questions about Saddle Ranch. I'm done talking about Saddle Ranch. I just needed to get that off my chest. Like, I feel like nobody's talking about the truth about Saddle Ranch, and I just wanted to be the one to do it. And I hope it was relatively interesting. But for some of y'all who don't know about it, go watch the Hollywood Fix interviews. Go check it out. Go see like how crazy it is there. It's just so weird. Actually, somebody just asked me a good question about, you know what? Maybe we'll just keep on the fucking Saddle Ranch topic. Okay? Maybe we'll just make this the Saddle Ranch episode. Somebody said, does the Hollywood Fix just hang out in the same spots because the TikTokers don't get creative and just chill around the same 3 blocks? Or does he like actually go find where you guys are going? Okay, here's my conspiracy because I don't know the truth. I think that there's a few spots that he knows that he can wait and he'll succeed. This is just with paparazzi for influencers in general because it's very different. It's like the paparazzi for like actual like, actors or like models and stuff like that. I don't know how that shit works. That's a totally different world. I don't know shit about that. But when it comes to like the weird new paparazzi on YouTube for influencers and TikTokers, I feel like it's a different game. It's like a different thing. And it's so interesting to me that it even exists, because when I started YouTube, it didn't exist. So the whole thing is just crazy to me. But I feel like he goes to BOA, he goes to Saddle Ranch, and he goes to, those are the main two, I feel like, that he waits outside of, knowing that TikTokers and YouTubers and any type of influencer is going to go there, because it's almost like this mutually agreed thing subconsciously that everybody knows that he's going to be there, and he knows that everybody's going to be there. So it's like this perfect thing, right? Where everybody wins. They know where to find him, and he knows where to find everybody. So that's that. As for like day-to-day stuff, like if he finds somebody at like a restaurant during the day at lunch or something, I feel like that's more something where people are calling it on themselves. Because I don't know how he would just know that someone's coming out of their, fucking doctor's appointment, like, at 11 a.m. in Beverly Hills. Like, it's so random. I just have a hard time believing that he just knew that. So I think that there's a decent chance that when it's not at the main locations that everyone knows are like established Hollywood fix spots, like, I feel like that's planned. I've actually always wondered, like, I've always wondered like how that works. Maybe I'll call the Hollywood Fix on myself one time and like pre-plan it and just see how that process goes, just so that we can all kind of like know how that shit even works. Cause I've never called it on myself. Ever. Although one time he found me I kid you not, he found me at my apartment once. And I'm convinced that someone gave him my address. I'm like, how the fuck did you find me there? Because I did not call it. And you can fucking see it in my face too. I was like, there is no way you just found me here. But I also think he might have followed me home because I was at a popular location right before. I don't know. I always wonder that. But I want to know like how that works. Like, do you DM him? Like, I don't know. Kind of fun. Maybe I'll try it just for a social experiment for all of us. Somebody said, do you think LA is overrated? It's crazy because I feel like recently LA has gotten a little bit, it's changed a lot since I first moved here, especially over the past few months with quarantine. Like, a lot of things have changed about it. I feel like, a lot of stores have closed, a lot of like permanently, a lot of people have moved out of here. A lot of people have moved here in the first, so it's been like both, like a lot of people are moving out, but a lot of people are moving in. And it definitely has a different feeling than it did when I first moved here. And I miss the old feeling that it had when, when everything was bustling and, there's like so many people here, and there's still a lot of people here, but I feel like so many people are leaving and a lot of people are over it. And I get it because I'm kind of there too. It just feels kind of like sad and dreary and dead right now to me. And I don't know if that's just because of the fact that we're, in a pandemic or whatever, or if it's just because maybe coronavirus kind of killed LA a little bit, because there's been so many closings. A lot of things have closed, like a lot of stores. Like, you go down Melrose, which is one of the main cool shopping streets in LA, and like so many things are closing permanently, and it's so sad to see. And it just feels kind of empty now. Somebody said, what's one influencer that you really want to collab with? I guess we're doing kind of an influencer Saddle Ranch, truth of it all episode. The truth about collabing with other influencers is that I think that you assume that you're going to get along with somebody because they do the same thing as you. But the truth of the matter is that's usually not the case. And it's usually, it can be a very pleasant experience. It can be fun even, for sure. But I've found that like it just doesn't always click. And that's why I don't like to collab, because I feel like when you structure a video and you collab in a way that's super structured with somebody who you don't genuinely feel like you get along with, it makes the whole experience miserable and it's fake. And personally, I just don't want to be fake on any front. If I've ever collabed with somebody, I'm friends with them, at least at the time. Right. And so it's not like I'm collabing with people that I don't know on a relatively personal level. Like it's usually somebody that like I've at least gotten a chance to get to know. And I don't know, like I just have a hard time with collabs because I feel like I also don't want there to be some sort of toxicity in the fact that, you know, when you collab with somebody, it could benefit one party or both. And with, you know, growth, right? Like I think a lot of people don't realize that like a big part of collabing is for, I think a lot of the times it can be because it's fun. And I don't think that it's always for the number element. But I've seen so many people in this space collab just for the numbers of it all. Not because they actually genuinely like the person or not because they genuinely think that it would be fun to collab with this person. It's more of just like a business move. And I've never done that because I don't believe in that. But I also don't bash people that do it because this is something it's entertainment, right? Like a lot of people are doing this stuff for entertainment purposes. And so sometimes it makes sense to do maybe a surface level collab because like, you know, that might be what makes sense for their business and their, you know, the business side of their YouTube, whatever. For me, I just don't like looking at it like that. And so that's why I've avoided that at almost all costs. And that's why you don't see me collabing with a lot of people or even having guests on this podcast because I'm like, I just get anxious about, you know, making sure that that's an authentic choice. Somebody said, oh, this is interesting. Someone said, what's the most romantic thing someone has ever done for you? Okay, this is so off topic and has nothing to do with like anything that we just talked about. But I have an opinion that I want to share. Like this has been something that's been on my mind. I don't like romantic things. Like I was just talking about this with my friend who's a lot older than me. And like she's been in a relationship for a really long time. And, you know, I was talking to her about like, how do you keep things interesting in a relationship when you've been dating somebody for like, you know, 5-7 years? Like, does it get boring? Like, whatever. And, you know, she was like, no, like it doesn't get boring because you know, there's obviously ruts while you're dating someone for a long time. But like, you know, if the relationship feelings don't fizzle, then it is always exciting in a weird way. And I get that. I get that. But it also made me think like, cause I was kind of asking like, do you have to start doing like fluffy ass shit? Like start doing breakfast in bed and shit after 7 years because you need to keep things romantic and exciting? I was kind of asking that. And, you know, her answer was kind of no. And I think that that's really interesting because I don't really think that super romantic, traditionally romantic things are like for me. I just don't care about that. It's just so not my love language. And part of me wonders, you know, are super romantic actions, are they overcompensating for a lack of something in the relationship? Does that make sense? Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's really nice when somebody does something heartfelt for you, surprises you with like a gift or something like that like means something, right? Like that means something when it's like heartfelt and thought out and spontaneous and random. Whereas like when somebody's just like buying you flowers just because, to me, that kind of makes me feel like it's because there's a missing part of the relationship that needs to be filled with some sort of like meaningless gift, like a flower or like a fucking breakfast in bed or like, you know, some sort of like meaningless gift. Like I feel like that's filling a gap in a relationship. And that's always how I've felt because like for me, like I don't like that stuff. I don't need that stuff. Like it could be like my 10-year anniversary with somebody I feel like that I am with, and literally I'd be fine with just having a normal day. I feel like every day, you know, you do little things like that, and like making some big romantic episode like about an anniversary or about whatever, I wonder if that's just maybe some people's love language, or if that's genuinely just overcompensation for a lack of maybe even connection. I don't know. I maybe it's just that's just simply not my love language. You know? Who knows? Because I just feel like that stuff doesn't work for me. Like that just I would be happy just sitting with a guy that I'm with and talking about nothing for hours. I'd rather do that than like be surprised with flowers. Like, I've been with a guy and they were shopping and they found something for me that like related to something that I care about. Like they were thrifting and they found something that they knew that I would like because it had a personal connection to me. And they gave that to me. I literally cried about it because they were just out doing their own thing. And then they thought of me and they found something for me that they thought I would like. And then they brought it to me. And then it was so personal. Like that to me is so much more meaningful than like, fuck, like my girlfriend's mad at me. I'm just going to go bring her flowers, I guess, to like make her happy because like blah, blah, blah. Or like, I feel like I've been a bad boyfriend recently. I'm just going to bring my girlfriend flowers or like whatever. I mean, maybe it can be cute. Like if it's like they had a bad day and you just want to do something. I don't know. Maybe I just have a jaded view on like, I think that sometimes I associate like a large romantic effort with like overcompensation for like bad behavior. So maybe I'm just jaded. I think that romantic things for me are more like the kind of small mundane things. Like that's the stuff that I like will shed a tear over, not like some sort of picture perfect shit. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, I have a hair appointment. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go get my hair re-dyed blonde again. It's going to take probably 3 hours and I'm going to have a lot of back pain and it's going to be shitty. But thank you guys for listening to my little Saddle Ranch rant. I know that that's like so random. So I hope that that's not too far-fetched for you guys to understand or listen to if you guys have no idea what the fuck that is. But it is really interesting. So go do a little Saddle Ranch research and kind of look at the culture that it has somehow on the Hollywood. Should I even be fucking promoting that? I don't know. It's very interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I love hanging out with you guys. Feel free to tweet at the AG Podcast Twitter topics that you want me to talk about. I'm always open to what you guys want me to talk about. And I want it to be stuff that you guys give a fuck about too. So go on the Twitter at AG Podcast. Leave us a little review on Apple Podcasts. Leave a little 5 stars if you fuck with it. And I love you all so much. And I appreciate you guys coming back every week to listen. And yeah, have a killer week. Here's to Saddle Ranch. Bye, y'all.